this is Kelly from Crafty Kelly's. I'm going to show you a lesson on how to do the twist mechanism in the pop-up twist card. So here's one of my designs. I learnt from a very good friend of mine, Lynn, who is another fellow demonstrator, how to make these cards. So thank you very much, Lynn, but I thought today I'd share with you how to do it. Okay, so pop these out the way. You are going to need your cutter with a scorer. So we're going to be doing a bit of cutting and a bit of scoring. So pay attention to the dimensions now. I will put them on my blog. So we're going to start with an A4 piece of card. I'm going to just get my arm out because it's going to be a little bit longer. There we go. And we are going to trim this down to 28. And we pretty much use every little bit we cut off. So 28. This strip we will use, so pop that to one side. Then I am going to score at 2 centimeters in, like so. So we're scoring at 2 centimeters, and I've just flipped the card round. And then we're going to cut at 4. So I'm just flipping the card round because it's easier to line up for 4 centimeters this way. And here we go. Okay. This one we're going to trim down to 21. So the piece we've just scored down to 21. We may need this bit, so don't chuck that away, but this is the main part of our mechanism. On this part that we've scored 2 centimeters in, and it's 4 centimeters wide, 21 long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little score mark at 12.5 centimeters and 8.5 centimeters. So I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've got my scorer. What I'm doing is just move it up a little bit so you can see. Yeah. I'm going to scoot down to 12.5. And I'm going to make a little notch there, and then I'm going to bring it up and over and make a little notch there. And then I'm going to go down to 8.5 centimeters, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make a little notch on the end and then another notch on that end. Okay, so now what we've created a little box of these little, little box of these little nooks. Can you see that? Little lines. And what we're going to do is we're going to join up across. So we're going to go across from here to here and across from here to here. So the way I'm going to do that, so mind, sorry if I get my head in the way, I've just opened it up, line up that notch, little mark, both sides on that line, hold it down tight, and then that's one done. And then we're going to do the same again, so line to line, across. So now we've made score lines of across. Yeah, can you see that? Score lines of across. So we've got a score line in the centre, then score lines at the cross. So that was, we scored 2 centimeters in, 12.5 centimeters, 8.5 centimeters both sides, then made a cross. Okay, so pop that down to one side. So we're left with this large portion of card, which is going to make like our base and our other middle working part. So we're going to score at 14 centimetres, like so, and then we're going to cut at 10 centimetres. The portion we've got left over is 7 centimetres. So this are 10 centimetres wide by 28 centimetres. We've scored it already and makes our card base. So it opens up like so. So I'm going to pop that to one side. Our last piece, I'm going to score. So we've scored at 14 centimetres, and then I'm going to score again. But I'm going to score at 21 centimetres. There we go. Then we've got 14, and then we're going to do 7. Like so. And what this will do is this will concertina in. So we're going to go dum, da, dum. So then when it opens like that. Fabulous. So that is all our coloured card cut. Next, I've pre-cut mine already and decorated mine for the purposes of this video. But you will need to cut some Whisper White or whatever card base that you want. And I've done these at 6 centimetres by 6 centimetres. If you wanted to put some designer paper in it, like this one, this is cut at 6.5 centimetres because these boxes are 7 centimetres wide, 7 centimetres by 7 centimetres. So if you wanted to put a layer of designer paper and then some Whisper White of some description in the middle, or circles or so on, then just take it down by like 0.5 centimetre each time. That's what I've done. So I've cut mine at 6 centimetres. So I have already pre-stamped up my pieces. So we've got our folding mechanism part, this part. I have stamped up like so, and I've kind of put the water feature on, so it looks like there's water, if you can see that. And I've used the High Tides stamp set for this. And I've used quite a lot of bits out of this to decorate, and you'll see as I build the card. So I'm going to pop this one to one side because I've decorated this already, and you can do it however you want. Like I said, with this one I've got designer paper, and then with this one I've kind of done a print detail and then the 6 by 6 card there. So the last piece of card you will need, which you can make any size you want, is to fit into this space here for you to write your message on. This one I have loosely cut out 9 centimetres by 8.5. So let's start putting together our elements of our card. I'm going to first stick my pictures that I've done. So I've done mine like this. Like so. Now you can use glue, or you can use Tombow glue is really good, and then or snail adhesive. For this I'm going to use the snail adhesive because the snail's my favourite. I stamped it in the wrong place when I first done it. And I never like to waste card. There we go. So when we fit it to the card, it's going to open up like that. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to pop that to one side. And for the base, card base, so we've got a bottom and a top. Like I said, some Whisper White, or whatever colour you want. I'm going to just attach at the bottom. And then I have created, if you've seen one of my other videos, this background. So I do a background on the background scenery, so you can learn how to do this on that video if you would like to do it. So this is our card all decorated and ready to go. So our mechanism. So the piece, we're going to come back to this piece here, which we made all the score lines in, like so. And we are going to fold all of our score lines. So these folds, fold up and fold up. Now what we should be able to do is, where's this? I'm going to fold those in and up like so till we've got this shape here. So, and it folds in. Hope you can see that. So we've got these two triangles, so they fold in up and in. There we go. Just going to use my bone folder and just straighten that right out. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to attach our mechanism to our card. And the way I'm going to use Tombow for this, and I'm putting Tombow on sticky bits. I think I need a new Tombow. There we go. Try not to get it too close to the edge because you don't want it spilling over. I'm going to do that on both sides, like so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to find kind of the centre of the card, and we're going to pop that down that way, and then we're going to close that on top and just hold that there for a second. And there we go. Push it right in. So there we have created our mechanism. Next is attaching our next piece. Now this is where it gets a little bit fiddly, but you need to make sure that you have your pictures facing up the right way, because you don't want them open up the wrong way. Ooh. So what we need to do is to sandwich it so we know it's going to face the right way. So I'm going to just tilt it this way, because I need to sandwich in between these two legs we've got now, like so. What we're going to do is we're going to put glue on the side that touches our little squares. So it'll be on that side and it will be on that side. We don't want glue anywhere else other than on those two opposing bits. So it can be a little bit fiddly, but it's not too hard to do. So what I do is, you don't want your card hanging over, so make sure that when you line it up that you get it in a good spot. So about there, and I know that because I've pinched it with my fingers, I don't want the glue to go past my thumb. So I'm going to stick on a bit of glue here. Like so. And I'm going to pop that there. Fab. And then give it a good squeeze. If there are any little bits of glue that pop out, try and get rid of those, because you don't want the rest of your card to stick together. And then for the other arm, I'm going to do it again where I've just getting an idea of where it is. So I turn it up the other way and I can pinch there so I know that I don't want to go past my thumb. A little bit of glue. Ooh. It's a little fiddly this. Try and make sure that your arms are like in line with each other once you've stuck them down, like so. Pop that down, we're all happy, and then just rest on it for a minute. And there we go. So you might have to open and close it a couple of times to get it to open smoothly, but it hasn't taken too long. It sits up quite nicely as well. It looks lovely. Like so. Fab. So I'm happy with that. The next part, because we need to make sure that we can close our card, we kept a couple of little pieces of cuts off, like so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim this one down with my scissors along that score line. And then I'm going to pop this so we know how thick it is, because I have used some dimensionals on my lighthouse, so I need to make sure that it fits. But this little bit of card just literally just touches, so what I'm using is a little bit of leftover card to kind of bridge that gap to make sure that it's going to be nice and strong. So I'm literally going to pop that down there, one side, and then the other side. So then we've made it a perfect fit. To kind of disguise that, I've already pre-cut out a couple of circles to make my design. For this one, we used a butterfly. For this one, I used some designer paper and a star. So for this one, I'm using a couple of colours and some white, and then I've just stamped up, but I've only got the sliver of it. So I'm going to start by popping my back piece down first, and that is literally just going to sit behind all those bits. And then I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals and I'll stick them on the back of my Whisper White. going to pop that on like so. I'm just going to trim that blue down a little bit. Okay. Probably could have made that little John a little bit smaller, but well. So then I'm going to attach next colour. And then my last. Like so. You can, like I have on my other ones, put some designer paper on the front or decorate it in some way, like I could do the sea decoration like I have done on the inside of the card. Like so, but there we go. So a pop-out card, and I've used the stamp set High Tides. If you want to know how to do this design on the inside, please watch my other video on backgrounds. Anyway, it's been a pleasure seeing you today. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Kelly from Crafty Kellys at www.craftykellys.co.uk. Have a good day now. Bye.